Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Acebo.
And this week we are joined by a special guest.
And I'm Brendan Acebo.
Hey!
There he is.
A special guest.
Hey,
returning
guys.
after many years.
Yeah.
Many a moon has passed.
Yeah,
Multiple cycles.
Yeah. You were one of our first guests. And then
was.
you came back for a crucial episode of Blackguard.
I did.
And now you're back for a crucial episode of The Show. Because we're talking about The Search for Whit Part 2. Brendan, you staked a claim in this one real early, as did
4 years
half
ago.
of our guests. So why'd you want this?
That's so funny that you say that because I vaguely remember that. The Search for Whit, I would listen to definitely every summer when I would clean my room. Like I have a lot of memories of as soon as school was done, just having these summer days where I would just spend long time in my room cleaning or organizing or whatever I don't know, ADD Brendan did back then.
Yeah.
And I would listen to these episodes over and over again, and it was kind of you know how you wait to binge a show you love?
Sure.
Well, I think I waited to binge this
Yeah.
It was but there were certain things that I associated with the summer. It was The Search for Whit. There was definitely whatever album the Barclays Vacation to Hawaii's on.
Yep. Yeah. For
Passport
sure.
to Adventure.
Passport to
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Look at that.
wow.
Good pull, Andrew.
Thank you.
I mean,
You should host an Adventures in Odyssey podcast.
I could tell you the episodes were called Aloha Oi Parts 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, have you listened to those ones recently?
No, but
They
I
do
can't
not hold
I
up.
can imagine the age. Well, they're racist as hell.
Yeah,
as I
no,
recall.
we covered them last year as an
no.
Andrew's choice, and it was
it was a bad choice.
I mean, I think it was good content. But
I just remember
in this house, we
I
say
just
Dan
remember-
Iowa.
Yeah.
Dan
We don't
Iowa.
give him.
Oh my gosh,
the spice.
There's the. I just remember in one of the episodes, he's trying to tell them things that are island speak for things, and one of them was right on my brown brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes.
That's
yep.
burned in my brain.
No,
as,
we spent a long time on that one.
You can't say that.
Yeah.
When was this okay?
But we're not talking about that episode. We're talking about another episode with a potentially
True.
Very offensive racist accent.
Yeah, that's multiple. Yeah, that's true. No, I also loved any of the episodes that had some kind of action or danger or intrigue. So they go to the Middle East and they're looking for Whit, and they get caught up in all the stuff that they get caught up in, and I was here for it for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
Plus, I mean, spurn on my early childhood fear and distrust for the Middle East altogether.
Yeah, this was post 9/11.
Well, yeah, 9/11 was second grade for me.
Yeah.
So it was all of a sudden, a certain part of the world that I really didn't think about was
very important.
very important. Didn't have a whole lot more information, but quite a bit more fear.
Yeah.
there you go. And yeah, do you have
So played on my fears and joys of childhood. That's the real answer.
there you go. Perfect. Do you have Jason and Tasha attachment? Was that part of the draw for you at all, or is that?
Gosh.
Actually,
know what?
this is a great question because I don't know how you feel about Tasha.
Okay, so Jason and Tasha's relationship over the course of the show, I feel like I was always rooting for Jason, but I was sure that Tasha was hot. I knew, and I was positive, not a doubt in my mind. They're it's secret agent-y kind of people, and I'm well,
Dark
dude,
hair, mysterious.
I pictured her blonde, but that's different. Anyway, the
Clearances.
security clearances.
Well, she also, the voice
But-
performance is very attractive.
Sultry,
it
if you
is.
will.
We have talked both on this series about Tasha speaks, and Tasha is very hot.
Tasha speaks and we listen.
Yes. So I think
more than maybe any other character on the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Blacker.
Now, that's a hot voice.
Sure. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Not in an attractive way. And I'm oh, shoot, I'm listening now. But I thought
I stand by.
No, as a couple, I thought they were doomed, though. I mean, and as a kid, like, you always think, like, oh, it's so clear, it's so obvious, like, you guys have these differing ideologies or something. There's no way, Jason, buddy, it's just not gonna work. And then I start to get older, I'm like, Jason, you idiot. Like, clearly, things work between you. Just focus on the things that work. Just don't, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he ends up, like, being, like, kind of cold and stuff, and it's like, I don't know. I hated that the show used it as a way to be like, see, you can't date somebody who's not a Christian. But it definitely put a little bit of fear of that in me as, like, a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old who wasn't about to date anybody anyway.
But boy, howdy, you were extrapolating out 7 years. Like, when the time comes, prom night, no way. They got to be a Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, boy, that is a crazy thing that's, like, changed so much about my brain, I guess, over time. Because, like, when I was younger, I really pictured, like, things had to be a certain way in order to be acceptable or good or healthy. And, like, anything outside of that, like, even though it might seem okay to me, or even though I might, like, God forbid, really want that, it was like, ooh, this is sus. You could get in big trouble with upstairs.
The big man.
So, like, yeah, Tasha's relationship with Jason is like, well, he's, like, obligated to God or something.
You mean his
that
dad?
Becomes the thing. And also, yeah, Whit is not a fan either. That's true. I don't know. I really wish it would have worked out. I wish that...
This is an excellent on-ramp for my fan fiction. Dylan, I need you to know that as much as I joke about it, I have genuinely thought about writing a fanfic about Jason and Tasha.
Until you write it,
Really?
it's just a thought.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Are you kidding?
No, in fits of boredom. Like, I'll just sit there and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe today's the day. And then today's not the day.
When I paint my masterpiece.
It'll happen.
It'll be of Tasha Forbes and Jason Whittaker.
Smooching, and then there's just Whit in a terrible disguise peeking out from behind them.
Yeah, well...
Oh, thank you, kind sir.
Andrew...
Yeah,
I don't know that I want you to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're going...
It's worse when I do it.
I guess we're going into the episode then.
Yeah, we don't have a promo this week because it was played last week.
Mm-hmm.
So we could just talk about the episode itself. But
is there any new cast members for this one?
Yeah, the great point.
The cleaning lady is unlisted as a vocal actor, by the way.
Yeah, no, that was a disappointment to me.
I thought that was hysterical.
The one who is new is we have Tom Williams as Stephen Charles.
Okay.
Who was not in last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Williams played Barry Lionel in the Pokenberry episodes.
Oh, okay. Fun.
Barry Lionel is the like
Vincent
rich.
man.
Oh, yep.
Yes. He's the Lionel Barrymore character from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
You've seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes.
Okay.
Andrew only watched it for the show after I watched it for the show.
Yeah.
No,
So-
first of all, I've seen it multiple times.
Great movie.
Just like organically, but also one of the co-ops that Andrew and I went to when we were younger did like a play of it.
That must have been before my time. I don't remember that.
It was a really, really long time ago.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Anyway,
that must have been before the Christmas Carol, because that's like I think the earliest one that I remember.
It must have been. I wasn't in it. I just remember seeing it. Oh my.
That's so funny though. I did not realize how Christian of a movie that was, or whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's
in a
not.
way that anything 50s is.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is like you go back old enough and it's all Christian.
Loosely, yes.
You're like, yeah. So. Well, it gets more and more overtly Protestant adjacent, and also more and more blatantly racist.
Yeah, weird
And sexist.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies watched for the sake of this show, I did complete Raiders of the Lost
Oh,
Ark.
nice, Andrew.
for this show?
No, I watched it with you years ago, and I just have no memory of it whatsoever. And then, so I just threw it on the other day while I was playing video games and watched it. So
Yeah, man.
What'd you think?
man.
I thought it was good. I was surprised at how little I remembered. I mean, even though I just said, like, I didn't remember any of it, but, like, like it felt like I was watching it again for the first time. Yeah, no, it was fun. I didn't realize that George Lucas had a writing credit on it.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's his movie.
Yeah.
Wait, is it?
I mean, Spielberg directed, but
Yeah.
it's George Lucas wrote. So the deal with the deal with Indiana Jones is that, like, in order the contract was such that in order to make any more, Spielberg, Lucas, and Ford all had to agree to them.
Oh.
And so that, like, the reason that we wound up with Crystal Skull is because that was the first one after Last Crusade that Lucas was on board for.
Oh.
Where Ford and Spielberg were like, yeah, we'll do more of these. And George Lucas was like, no. And they finally got him to, like, get on board with Crystal Skull. And then obviously when he sold everything to Disney, he lost that right.
Yeah.
So it's like going forward, Spielberg, Ford and the studio have to agree to it, which is a far easier thing to pull off than getting old Georgie Porgy.
Honestly,
God bless him.
So the episode begins with
and we're back.
with Jason breaking down the door, and then Alfred tells him that he could have just used the key.
Yeah, in true Jason fashion, there's a lot of him swinging his lasso around kind of needlessly.
Sure.
Man, I thought you were gonna go with Cardigan, but yeah.
No, Jason shot first.
I mean,
And they go into Whit's trailer to find out that it has already been ransacked.
That is Odyssey's favorite word, is ransacked. They love a good ransacking.
They really do. That's interesting.
it's kind of like the Red Scare, but
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, like, I don't know. Just I feel like it's such a common situation where they're walking into something that's already happened, as opposed to cutting to somebody tearing apart an office or something.
Right,
like that.
well, because it's an audio medium. You want to be explaining it rather than hearing it occur.
sometimes
I think hearing it occur would be fun.
Sure, I
especially
feel
when
like
they drop something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And ransacking. I mean, that must, the Foley for that must be a delight.
If you say ransacked, like not searched, ransacked, I just imagine things are just strewn everywhere. Like
I think that's
drawers
the
are not closed. It's like
Right.
drawers, like you could search somebody's apartment, but if you ransack it, like you pulled everything out and just left it there.
Yeah, you just dumped it on the floor.
Yeah.
If somebody ransacked my room for any reason, even if they took nothing, I would be incensed to the point of like homicidal rage. Like if somebody just like took all my stuff and just threw it everywhere, I'd be like,
No!
unacceptable.
I put all of my effort into the exact opposite of
If you
this.
just did that to like all the shirts I have hanging, I'd have a rough time with it.
Well, and you're always going to wonder if they took something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't keep an inventory of my room.
No, there's no way I would remember. Unless they
not
took
gonna-
something that was like
If they take something obvious.
a
but,
shirt or maybe some shoes or something
Right.
like that. But
You know, my framed George Lucas talk show poster, like I'd noticed that.
yeah.
Yeah, we now...
ransacked apartment.
Right, we got the ransacked apartment. There's a cross stitch from Jana
Yes.
that spells out trust
Trust.
as an acronym, and Eugene explains acronyms to Alfred, who is apparently the stand-in for children.
Yes.
Because he should know what an acronym
Oh, yeah,
is.
isn't he the,
I
like, the
think
smart one?
everyone knows what an acronym is.
100%. And they explained it like 3 times this
They
episode.
really did.
They really just beat it over the head, and then it was unconscious, and then they sat on it, and then they walked away.
And that was just for an acronym. God, can you imagine if we were trying to dip into anagrams?
Yeah. No, this and you were right in the previous episode.
Yeah, look at me. I figured out the clue. I haven't listened to this episode in like more than a decade.
Yeah.
And even when I hadn't listened to it that much. So I made the guess last episode of like whatever Whit says. I'm like, it spells out hiding. If that's the whole clue, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole clue,
It's
buddy.
the whole clue.
There's not a backside.
What is it? Who I am is nothing great.
How I do is nothing great.
How I do is nothing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Also rent free in my head.
the one Andrew just said is
Yeah.
Okay, but I could probably still. It's like like that's like how it sounds.
That was really good.
That was really good.
I want you to know I haven't done that probably ever in my lifetime.
No, that was quality.
That was just
That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
that's what the scrambled audio sounds like in my memory.
Yeah.
My younger brother had a Nintendo DSi
Okay.
at one point, which was the one that had a camera.
Yeah.
And one of the features of that was that you could record things on it and play them in reverse.
Yes. Oh my god.
And so we spent so much time recording things and then playing them back and then saying them and then saying the backwards thing and then flipping it and seeing if we could get reverse engineer it.
Yeah.
And so I unfortunately know how to say, hello, my name is Nicholas Weaver backwards, which is not helpful because that is his name and not mine.
Gotta love backwards audio.
So they
But they don't put together the hiding clue yet.
No.
I did.
Yes.
They don't. So Benjamin then is the security guard for the thing. He comes in with a gun and Alfred's like, hey, don't worry. Like, it's just Benjamin. He's a little overeager. And then he's like, nope, they're paying me more than you are. So I'm kidnapping Jason.
Yeah.
And so that's what he does. And they drive away in Alfred's car.
Classic turncoat
My
move.
all-time favorite. They took my car. Like, it's just like he's so incredulous about it.
Yeah. Well, because he's like, they took Jason. He's like, no. More importantly, they took my car.
Like, well, we're stuck.
Yeah, but then they never address that.
No, that was
They
the
are
thing.
suddenly back in the hotel, and my thought was they're in the middle of nowhere and don't have a car anymore. But apparently, not a concern.
Maybe they were stuck at the hotel? No, because they were at the dig site. Yeah.
So we're now in the room with Jason and Benjamin.
Yes.
We go to commercial. We come back. He's got him kidnapped. He's interrogating him. Jason's in like secret agent mode. They're talking about like they're implying that they have Whit captive. And that's got Jason all nervous. And then they ask for the clue, or he's like, what if I know less than you do? And they're like, well, we know he sent you a tape. And he's like, yeah, all it said was how I am is nothing great. And then Jason puts it all together. Exactly. And he calls their bluff. He's like, you don't have my father because he's in hiding, or he doesn't actually say that, but like he's thinking that.
Yeah.
And so he just walks out of the room, which is the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's like, you have no leverage.
Yep.
Goodbye.
He like realizes that there's a guy that there's someone watching from afar because Benjamin's the only one there.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, you've got no way to hold me here. And I'm like, I guess they could like shoot you in the foot, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
If they
want him to lead them to to Whit, and they're following him anyways. So they just let him go, and he takes the car and drives it back. And we've then got Benjamin talking to a distorted voice.
Yeah, that voice. When I was younger, I was like chilling, like little spinal tingle there.
Oh yeah. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Like, oh my gosh, and it's such a weird, like, digitalized sounding.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do an impression of it, even though that's like my bit. But like, it's rough. And like, it tells him, what does it say? Like, don't worry, Benjamin, or something like that. Oh my god, it's so creepy.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing where like they do it well to where you're like, is this? to where it's not clear if this is going to be some bigger Odyssey villain who we already know, or if it's just one of the people we've been introduced into this in these episodes that they need to keep a secret. Like they're letting it, play as like we have no idea who this is.
Yeah, they'll tell us later. Air quotes.
Yeah, that's what next episode's for.
Exactly.
So
but
then Jason gets back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And is that when he meets with Tasha?
First because they're sitting at the table and Eugene's there.
Yeah.
And that's where he says like it's the thing was hiding. Because Eugene like comes down for breakfast and
right.
Jason is just already sitting there and is like, yeah, the car's in the garage.
Yeah.
And then he's like, when my dad when my dad hides, no one can find him. Hide and seek was a nightmare growing up. We couldn't find him for weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
That okay.
is not okay. That is neglect.
I recall this, and also, like, first of all, when I heard this before, I was like, wow, this must have, like, I was trying to figure out, I was like, this must have been the summer. How did they have all this time to just play, like, this endless game of hide and seek? This is so cool, but, like, how the heck does Whit have the time off? Like, how are they pulling this? And then it occurred to me, and I was like, well, maybe it's a continuous game, and they just, like, set, like, a timer, like an egg timer or whatever they had back then, to be like, okay, after, like, 2 hours of not being able to find Dad, he has to come out for dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
But then, presumably, after
Pick
dinner,
up the same thing.
he goes right back to the same spot,
Yeah.
and his kids are just at a loss.
See, my pet theory is that Whit would go, like, they would start a game of hide and seek, and then Whit would just leave and go off to do secret agent stuff.
Yeah, and then come
And
back.
then come back weeks later.
It's his equivalent of buying like milk and cigarettes. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
they're like, where were you hiding? Iraq.
Yeah.
We're gonna play hide and seek. I'll be back in 14 business days.
Yeah, you guys count to 30,000 while I get in this cab real quick.
Yeah.
I can't find Dad or his suitcase.
Yeah. And then Tasha arrives and Eugene starts to exit and Jason's like, no, sit down, Eugene, it's fine. And Tasha's like, it's not.
Actually, it's not. You should leave. I can't talk to him.
I think you should leave.
That's my
Season
plug for
3
this
out
week.
now.
Yeah. Dang it. I've got so many things to plug.
Many orifices. And so
And here we go.
I think Tasha's had work done. Yeah. She sounds like she's had work done.
Wow.
Not a lot. I don't think it's a lot. But I wouldn't be surprised if she had some lip filler. She sounds like she got lip filler. Maybe she got her cheeks done. She
What
travels
a weird take.
all around the world.
Maybe
I
she's
don't
just
know.
always wearing a mask.
That's fair. That is fair. Maybe none of us have ever seen the real Tasha.
Well, she's an audio character, so arguably that's correct.
Inarguable.
In your head, how long is her hair?
Shoulder length, wavy, dark, like kind of Black Widow in Iron Man 2, but with black hair as opposed to red.
I just realized who I picture for Tasha.
Incredibly specific.
And it is 100% Doofenshmirtz's daughter from Phineas and Ferb.
Vanessa?
Yeah.
I mean, Vanessa is hot.
Right.
Vanessa has always been hot. That is so funny, though. Because Vanessa looks just like Candace. Candace is built like a pea as far as her neck and head are concerned. Oh, man. That's so funny. That's incredible. I did not expect that from you.
I just lost my earphones. My headphones fell off. I was laughing. I threw my head back. Oh, Lord. No, I mean, I think probably I pictured...
Charles the platypus. Anyway, sorry.
No, I think I probably pictured, like, based on
Does
my...
that make Jason Perry?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Jason the platypus.
No, I totally pictured Tasha Forbes as being like a slightly less like super skinny version of Cameron Diaz, I think.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I think that's something
I think
like
we're all just, disclosing what our type is.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I wouldn't even say that that's
I wouldn't say that that's my type.
Well, I mean,
All right. Then I guess just me.
usable content. We love all the usable content.
Oh, man.
Overheating.
So Tasha reveals that she has a little bit more clearance to be able to share more stuff now.
You're like, oh, gee, thank you.
They're going like back and forth, and Jason's like really frustrated with her because he reveals that she reveals that the agency, still just the agency, and Whit have concocted this scheme to like lure out bootleggers.
Yes.
Which Jason's like, oh, this is really funny. And then she's like, but we told Whit they were bootleggers and actually they were terrorists and were working with the Israeli government. And then Jason is not happy.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
He's like, wait, excuse me. You are using my dad as bait? And Tasha's like, well, I've only known about this for the last couple weeks. At which point, why did they choose Tasha?
The one person with deep personal connection, it feels
right. Like, are they trying to
Create
play the
ethical
personal
dilemma?
angle? Because it just feels like
they're honeypotting Jason.
right. I mean, truly. But it's like, is there not because Tasha doesn't want I am playing by the rules. She's not trying to manipulate Jason. Is the agency playing her? Is she trying to manipulate Jason?
Okay, so maybe this is just my deep-seated fear coming out, okay? But I always got the sense that she loved the secrecy and the intrigue of her job so much, and that Jason could not securely attach because he felt like there were times where she put that before, you know what I mean? For example, keeping these secrets from him and not telling him and whatever, which arguably, if you have any kind of romantic fling with somebody that has top secret government clearance and then you yourself no longer have that clearance, what in the Sam heck do you expect?
Right. Right. We have all seen Mission Impossible 3. We know how this goes.
Nope.
Oh man, I have. No. I did. I remember who I watched it with. I remember where I was. Does his wife die at the beginning or something?
Basic, it does a cold open kind of fake out of her dying at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a J.J. Abrams joint. I recently have watched all the Mission Impossible movies over the last couple months.
I don't know if I can handle that much Tom Cruise.
God, I don't know. I'm into it.
Yeah, you and my sister both.
I never seen any Mission Impossible. Never
They're good.
Seen Top Gun or the new one.
They're good.
Yeah, I know.
mean, the original Top Gun is but the new Top
one
Gun's
is
really good.
Yeah, no, it's not something that I feel bad. I have no ill will towards the Mission Impossible franchise, and especially I think the old ones with all the stunts and stuff is very cool from what little I know about it, but. Yeah, I just think it's really funny that I was so into all the spy stuff, and then when I became old enough to watch it, I just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was a big blind spot for me. Recently watched. I'm a big fan. Anyway, that was not the point. The point was that things are getting a little tense over breakfast between Jason and Tasha here, and then they part ways. Jason has this jab where he's like, I can't tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys these days.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, we've got Eugene goes into the elevator. Immediately, Whit walks in, doing quite the accent, and in a disguise that makes him look like he's Middle Eastern.
Now,
I don't want to know what that disguise is.
Well, It's not called whiteface.
I don't think he got paler. I'm just gonna say that.
But
much.
also, like, I mean, people in the Middle East do have like all kinds of different complexions for sure.
Yeah.
And also, like, we don't know what his facial hair game has been. Like,
True.
I assume that somebody in hiding is not going to keep their like.
Well, and Eugene
Walrus
hasn't seen him
mustache.
in 2 years since he left the show.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there are ways that he could probably have disguised his appearance that don't make me want to throw up in my mouth now to think about.
Sure.
But
Sure, if he's got like a big beard and a turban.
Yeah, he'd be
yeah,
good.
yeah. But also, like,
And maybe he's just tan because he's been working in the archaeological dig for
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
that's very fair. That's
A really tan Whit is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, no,
to
it's bizarre and
Well,
slightly
let's
unsettling.
talk about it
but-
a little bit more because, you know, over that time, assuming that he's been working hard, you know, he might have lost a little weight, might have
Oh goodness.
might have built up his shoulders a little bit, Andrew.
Played hide and seek
Jesus.
in another country.
Yeah, no, all I'm saying is, like, I mean, he could have had like a Middle Eastern glow up. It's not
Yeah.
impossible.
Sure.
That would be actually would be incredible with Whit returning from the search for Whit, new actor just hot as hell. Goodbye, old Hal Smith owl. Hello, sex appeal Whit.
Sex appeal Whit is
I
the
thought that's just what
worst
Jason
bit.
was
Yes.
supposed to
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so
Just
Whit
like
is
Jesus.
disguised, and he reveals himself to Eugene by demanding his wallet, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And
With a ton of specificity.
Yeah, you have a black leather wallet, yada yada.
yeah. He like tells him all this ridiculous stuff. Eugene is baffled, unsettled, but not picking up on a thing. Like,
No,
at all.
certainly.
It's just like, wow, this is so strange. Wow, this is even stranger. Wow, this is even stranger. Whit?
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like, I wonder what the experience is as an audience member at this time. Because, like, it's being hinted that Whit's coming back, but you also know Hal Smith is dead.
Yeah.
Hurlinger sounds a lot like Hal Smith, but it's like, I don't know. Like,
But doing an accent here, like,
Correct. But he sounds different, and he's doing an accent. Like, obviously, I, listening to this, immediately clock it as Whit. But if you've never heard Hurlinger do Whit before, and he's doing Whit with an accent, like, does
would not
this
have picked it
scene
up.
work as, like, a surprise reveal to an audience member in, like, 1990, whatever this was, 2? No, later than that, 4?
It's a big year for me.
6.
there it is.
Less great of a year for me, but I mean, still important.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's interesting to put yourself in those shoes and be like, yeah, this probably
yeah.
plays pretty well.
No, especially because Odyssey has like a history of doing caricature accents for different people, like the Holstein's books of it all.
They really do go hard in the paint for the accents.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, we talked about Don Iowa earlier.
Yeah. So I feel like, there's no way that I think as an audience member I would have clocked it immediately. At least if I was 8 years old.
Yeah, it's a cool reveal. Like it works.
And it's slightly cultural.
Yeah, you know, it's
wouldn't be made
dodgy
today.
but also, who among us hasn't done a bad accent?
Not me earlier today.
So yeah, then Whit explains not a whole lot, honestly, but he brings up that, like, he has found the document, and Eugene's like freaking out about, you know, all the implications of that.
Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't go that far. I am trying to investigate this. That's why I'm in hiding. I don't want there to be, like, political interference. I'm just gonna go out and try and find these bones. And
Man, looking for some bones.
yep. And then they're like, you know, and then he's like, you know, meet me in the hallway at 3 this
like, the
afternoon.
service-
Or like
Was it
the
the
service
bus station?
staircase
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, it's the staircase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the hotel. But then he gets off the elevator as someone else walks in, and once again,
Accent back up.
yes, Whit puts his accent back up. they go up in the elevator. Eugene and this other guy. He once again stops the elevator in the middle.
Yes.
And then reveals that he's Professor Charles.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that he says beyond "I'm Professor Charles"? Like, I'm trying to remember that scene.
I can't think. I mean, does he say that he's looking for Whit also, or do they talk about?
I don't know, because the thing is, like, later,
Yeah.
Eugene, like, yeah, I guess Eugene in this scene doesn't really, I mean, obviously doesn't say anything about Whit.
Yeah.
And then later they talk about the fact that, like, Whit saw Professor Charles and didn't acknowledge him. Mm-hmm. So, like, clearly he's trying to keep, you know, a low profile.
Yeah, keep everything
And
under
it
check.
plays in that general thing of, like, not knowing who to trust. Because when Jason and Eugene get back to the room, they go into the bathroom, turn on the shower, whatever. Because Whit did mention that, like, the room's for sure bugged, which they already knew.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Another
Yeah.
one?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like Novacom, where it's like, well, who's bugging? Like, there's multiple people.
Right.
Like, how many times
Who's
are we
bugging
gonna
the
bug
bugger?
How many times are we gonna put a bug in Whit's office in some kind of a book?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
Well, there was this bug, but did you know about that bug? And
Right.
then there's bugs all over the soda fountain and everything
Yep.
else, and you're like, holy crap, there's bugs on bugs.
Yep.
So
And the modem.
it's like, well, are you getting bugged by the terrorists? Are you getting bugged by this agency?
Yeah, there's two. Yeah, there's the government, and then there's two terrorist organizations.
There's two governments.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 'cause
Because
the
we now have
Israeli-
the Israeli agency involved as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got 4 bugs running around.
Right, well, and
Little critters.
yeah, and we also have, like, all of these moving pieces with Professor Charles
Yeah.
and with Brownlee, and it's like we don't know who either of them are working for, but, like, obviously Whit's not trusting anyone. And yeah, Eugene explains the stuff to Jason in the bathroom, and Jason gets very excited. And then Brownlee arrives at the door, and Eugene, like, tries to fill him in, and Jason cuts him off. And Brownlee's like, neither group has Whit, which we obviously already know, but we don't, you know, they don't tell Brownlee that. And yeah, and then Jason, like, Brownlee leaves, and Jason explains to Eugene very loudly in the room with bugs that he's not trusting anyone.
Yeah.
And does the, like, classic turn to camera,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to talk to the
Okay,
bugs now.
who's ever listening? Yeah.
This
I'm
is-
not trusting anyone.
This is Jack Allen signing off.
Right,
on
this
the
is
soda
Bernard.
fountain. Yeah.
Right, this is Bernard in the kitchen signing off.
Yep. Oh, man.
Go over and check out Tom in the Bible room.
Man.
Back over to you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Ah, what a great scene. Not in this episode, but a great
No,
scene.
Unfortunately,
no,
great
but,
scene, though.
but it is. It's like sets up.
Bug squashed, if you will.
Oh goodness.
And they go into the hallway, and they spot a cleaning lady, and Eugene goes to go talk to the cleaning lady, assuming it's Whit. And I was like, oh, man, please, John Avery Whittaker's doing drag. Like,
Yeah.
this is great. But no, Whit would never do drag. It is just a cleaning lady, or is it? And then we find out Whit is a level down. But, like, Eugene walks into the stairwell and just starts yelling, Mr. Whittaker! And I'm like, my word!
Idiot.
Even if you're right,
We have this
why would
subtle
you
meeting
do that?
in this discreet location where
Right,
I will
I'm
be in disguise.
It's like being like, "Are you ready for the surprise party?"
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Read the room. And then also, like, you know how I said that thing about Whit's Middle Eastern glow up?
Uh-huh.
Well, it probably didn't leave him looking like a cleaning lady. Unless she also is like, I don't know, Gal Gadot or something, has been like putting in reps and
Unreasonably
everything.
attractive.
Well, just like
Yeah.
very fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And so they this is when they set up that they're going to meet at the bus terminal in 2 hours. So it's like a weird thing of like, I'm telling Jason that we need to, or like Eugene, we need to meet here so that he and Jason come so that I can tell him another place we need to meet.
Yeah.
But
We've already
Whit's
met.
getting things lined up, and they need to ditch their tails during this time. And then they leave to reveal that the cleaning lady is in fact a spy.
A bug. live one, if you will.
Yeah, which is it's a fun final moment.
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
just
It ends
like
with her on the phone,
like whispering.
saying that she saw the target, which is John Whitaker, and it like shows you how important he is to like the people that are like trying to get their hands on this stuff. And honestly, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why terrorists are that interested in like what are potentially the buried bones of Jesus Christ.
Right.
But
yes. So that is the end of this episode. What anything we need to say as a whole to close out? I mean,
thank you, and I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm excited to see where part 3 goes. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they don't find the bones of Christ. But
can you imagine?
That would be really Drake.
So, what I do love about this episode on a kind of serious note is that like talking about finding these things is kind of parallel to the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in like I think it was the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is
I think it might have been earlier than that. I want to say it was like the 30s or something.
Yeah,
maybe
something like that. It was within the 20th century.
Yes,
but
correct.
like this huge archaeological find from I want to say the like Essenes.
Yes. Nope, you're correct.
Like
46
community that was in Israel, but like kind of removed. If that makes sense, spatially
like
removed. And so there was like all these jars of scrolls that were found preserved really, really well. And the cool thing about them was that they were much older than, for example, any Latin copy that we had of any like recorded like scripture or whatever, like older than what any English translation had ever come from before, and in multiple languages with content really, really close, like grammatically, like syntaxically, like very, very close to what we had then ended up with
in canon.
Many translations later, and a lot of like, so it was like a really big academic find because it's like there's this entire community that was living here in the desert, so that's big. And then there's this whole like kind of like faith community impact of finding something that has implications, but then
but it mostly just backs up what like is already there.
Well, but then like, it made me think too, like I think this is what got me interested in thinking, even like really young, about how people would say like, well, there's other gospels, there's other like there's a million different texts like under the Vatican locked up or something somewhere. There's basically like a Catholic book of secrets.
Yeah.
And it's all the stuff that they don't put in the Bible, right? But like looking at it from more of like an archaeological side and being like, oh yeah, like there's a reason that these things exist the way that they do, and no, like there's nothing about this to be afraid of. It's literally like history is not a threat, you know what I mean, or like archaeology is like a good thing, or like whatever. Anyway, so
well, and the other thing that's really fun from the Dead Sea Scrolls is that there's a bunch of from this weird sect that's like slightly removed from like mainstream Jewish culture. There's a bunch of their commentaries on Old Testament stuff, which is just cool.
Yeah, that's
like,
fun.
It's like, oh, we get to see how a non-mainstream people group thought about like what they thought about scripture. That is also extremely interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because understanding that they would have used whatever they had, one, probably to structure their calendar. Like each of those sects had slightly different calendars, usually like utilizing like the Psalms or something like that for like their like liturgical year. But they also, with their commentaries, like show you kind of how people at that time were interpreting all these events and mythologies and things that have been recorded up until that point in what we would call like the Septuagint, which is like the Greek copy of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's like
cool.
Man, that's like a Bible college like nerd just drop on you there.
This is the wrong podcast for you.
But yeah, no, those are like those little details. I don't always know how to relate to it like on a faith side now so much. I wouldn't say that I am like, let me put it this way. If I ever had a conversation with anybody who had anything to do with the creation of Adventures in Odyssey, I would probably go into that conversation with the intention of displeasing and making them uncomfortable. Like, that is where I'm at. But also, like, I really appreciate the way that certain things, especially like at a young age, kind of push your brain to like explore.
Yeah.
Which actually, to say that this made me more interested in extra biblical text is probably to say that it backfired.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I'm sure that's not what they wanted.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like,
No, and that's...
Yeah. And I will put a link in the description to a very good episode of the podcast, No Dumb Questions, that talks all about the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh, really?
Because that's just fun. That's, yeah.
Very cool.
I'll make that my plug.
Okay.
Formally.
Wonderful.
Brendan, what would you like to plug this week?
What are you promoting?
Oh my gosh. What do I promote?
You have a single.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not out yet.
You have one that is out.
Shoot, yeah, I do. Okay, so yeah, a couple months ago, I went into the studio and I put out a single. It's called "Ready to Lose," and it's under the artist name Lily Girl. So it's like Lilli Girl, and it's all caps. And
There'll be a link.
It's named after my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lily.
And there's a new single coming soon.
There should be, yeah.
It's recorded.
There's something I went into the studio in April. I'm really excited about it. The next one's gonna be called Long Shot. There's one or two things to wrap up before I can get it out, but that's fun. And I don't know. I play music.
Yeah, you're on TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. If you just like look at my name.
Is it just Brendan Acebo on TikTok?
Oh, I believe so.
Yeah.
Once again, there will be a link below.
Fantastic.
I do a Talking Heads cover if you like it.
I do.
What's your plug, Andrew?
So weird plugs this week. I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey for the first time last night.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, no, that movie rules.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm very behind on that, but
Nope, I mean that's how I felt when I saw it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
like
so good. Yeah, so that was fantastic. I'd highly recommend watching it if you haven't before. Even if you have, skip to the like an hour into the movie and just watch the last hour and a half, and like you'll be happy.
Also, if you're in any sort of area where you have like a cool like indie theater, rep theater, or whatever, the odds that movie gets played at some point during the calendar year are like pretty good, and I highly recommend.
Oh, did you get to see it in theaters?
I got to see it at the Museum of the Moving Image in yeah.
Sorry,
Correct, in New York City, and it was incredible.
That sounds
like a little.
My jaw was on the floor, like in my living room watching it. I can't imagine seeing it in like.
No, it was glorious.
And
so
just had an art reaction.
Yeah, a big ol' art reaction. Oh my gosh. That's it for the plugs.
All right.
No. 2001 with Space Odyssey and markets. We were talking about that before. Love markets.
All right. Go to a market.
Support small business.
All right. And with all that being said, folks, we will be back next week for episode 357, The Search for Whit, Part 3. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.